top's where I'ma take it. That's why they got me saying, yeah, they got me saying, let me take you there, let me take you there.
All right, so today we have an exclusive interview with Big Tray Deee, who is set to be released from prison this week. My name is LuRocK, and I want to thank you first and foremost for taking the time out to allow itsthedaily.com and Collective State TV the opportunity to interview you under these tight circumstances.
No doubt. You got that.
I was warned you only have a 1 hour window to talk, so I want to get right into things.
Okay, maybe if we can condense it to like 35 minutes, because that's about the time I'm going to have before they crack these doors back open. So I got to be, I really got to be on point, because ain't no telling when they might slide through here knowing that I'm getting out this week.
Definitely understandable. All right, so you've been away from the rap game for a while now, and we're in a different generation of hip hop. And with that being said, there's a lot of people who may not be familiar with your work. Could you clarify for everyone just who Big Tray Deee is and what your credentials and accomplishments are in this rap game?
Okay, yeah. Big Tray Deee from Long Beach City, the LBC. I came in the game back in the dog pound inception. The clique was, I think it had been formed in 91. I came in like early 93 after I was fresh out of prison at that time. I just got out of Solidad, and one of my homies, Freestyle, told the people that he had heard me spit some shit, because he was around, and Snoop happened to be in the group, and he wound up introducing me to him. So we did something on Mother Was the Case, 21 Jump Street. I was on the show soundtrack. A song called Dropping Bombs from my homegirl South Central. I was on the Thin Line Between Love and Hate soundtrack. I did a lot of features on Snoop projects in the early albums. And in 99, Snoop had just came back from No Limit, and he was back on the West Coast. And he had gave him that last album, Last Meal, so he asked me that I wanted to form a group called the East Siders. That was originally going to be me, him, and Daz back in like 96 or 97. It did never come about. So I asked him who he had in mind to make the group with, and he said Goldie Loc and himself. So, I checked out. I said, let me check out something Goldie got. And it was good enough. So I said, man, let's get in the studio. And we just had a cold chemistry. We wound up going platinum on our first album. And the second album almost hit platinum as well, but I caught this case and came back to prison. And in the first album, Snoop Dogg against the East Side of Deuce, and the second was Deuces and Trays. And we went platinum, won Best Group of 2000. And, I've just been dropping verses on basically everything that come out on the West Coast that got a gangster edge to it, because that's my get down. I'm the G of the clique, so that's how I do it.
As you should. Okay, so upon your release, I'm sure you're going to go, you have a lot to say. I'm sure you're going to get back in the studio. What's your current label status?
I have a label called Supreme Circle Music Group that I began with Cognac, formerly of Doggy's Angels, and Tray Deee. We all put our head together and figured that with the music that they was managing and producing themselves, that it would be a good collaboration for us to all put our heads towards one aim. And we formed the Supreme Circle Music Group. And our album is going to be coming out on there. And I have a mixtape that's coming out this week called Long Beach State of Mind. And I have a Long Beach State of Mind compilation album as well. The mixtape features all redid beats of that was already out there. But Long Beach State of Mind, the compilation album, is all original beats. And we're going to put out a big beat. I got a song with him called They'd Rather Kill Me. He's making a lot of noise on the internet. And I'm putting him out as a solo artist. He's from the west side of Long Beach, so that's where ain't nobody never heard. You always hear East Side, LBC, East Side. So you let them see how the west side do it. I also got a hip-hop artist named Tim West. He got Major Boss. He's discovered by cognac, and she brought him to the table. And this, she probably gonna drop a solo album herself. She already got one done. It'll probably be out soon. And gonna try to get her to drop something on Supreme Circle. So he's gonna have like an in-house, traditional West Coast label. And I'm probably gonna I'm scouting a little singer. I heard she was pretty tough. So I want to see what she's working with. So I'm just trying to build a good label where you know what kind of music you're getting when you go to it. Supreme Circle, don't forget it.
Right now that seems to be the popular thing right now in hip hop. Everyone's doing the independent route, and trying to stay away from any sort of situation where they get hemmed up and not be able to basically be shelved. What are your thoughts right now on independent hip hop and the way it's taking over right now?
Well, I really wish I was aware enough to be able to comment on it in any kind of detail, but I've been locked up for the last 10.5 years. So, a whole lot changes in hip-hop within a matter of, 2-3 years, and definitely in the span of a decade. You can imagine how different it is. We was going platinum when I was out, and, that's, you almost probably had to be Jay-Z or Lil Wayne or something to do that now, or Big Tray Deee, because I definitely coming back to give me another platinum plaque. I hope they feel me on that. But, yeah, it's I can't really speak on how things is as far as who pushing what on the indie tip or whatever. I just hear names that come across my ear like Kendrick Lamar, the new guy, and certain guys that get hot, Meek Mills. You hear a lot of people here talking about those kind of guys and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I got to judge it from. So I haven't been out there to really, take inventory of what's really going on. I just know that I know what good music is, as well as cognac, as well as Jazzy D. Collaborating with one another, we'll be able to put a viable label out there that really compete with whoever else got something going on. So that's basically what I'm more focused on the music, not the politics of it.
That's really good. That it seems like you really have your ear to the streets, Phil. You brought up a couple of artists, so you're paying attention to what's going on. And the reason I asked that question was because, considering your current situation in prison, and if you can speak on it, how were you able to put together your forthcoming mixtape, Long Beach State of Mind, which is set to drop soon?
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest with you, that has to be the ultimate independent hustler move that I've possibly quite seen just as of yet.
And thank you for that. I really appreciate your acknowledgement of that fact. Well, first and foremost, man, I got to give all credit to Allah, man, to God. There's only one creator, man. He give us the ability to be able to accomplish whatever he has on his slate to accomplish. Whatever he got in store for you, ain't nobody withhold it. And, whatever he got to, whatever he don't want you to have, can't nobody give it to you. So, I got to thank him first. And, he put together, one of my homies that was in another prison. He came here and he said he had the savvy to get in the smartphone and, bring up all kind of applications and he knew how to manipulate those applications to make it really seem like we was in the studio. And I trust him, I've been knowing his family for a while, so I trusted him, and I said, well, let's give it a try, man. And I called a couple of producers. I knew, Jay, the producer out of Bakersfield, Superfly from the Dog Pound, Meech Wells, he did some of the Dog Pound music, East Side music, and I got tracks from them, and a guy called Blue, the producer, sent me one. And I said, shit, let's just go, man. Let's put it up and tell me what I got to do. He said, man, I just cue you in when you ready to spit. And man, that boy did wonders on that phone. I call him Little Iceberg. I don't want to put his real name out there and have the police kick his door in. So I'm going to call him Little Iceberg. But, he had the technological know-how to make it happen And I had a couple of more homies that showed up from other prisons as well. You know, another guy from the north side of Long Beach, JJ88. You know, my little homie from the east side, B.I.G. Petey. And my little homie, little Tray Deee, was in here too. And he surprised us that he had bars. So, you know, we just started going in the cell and laying it out. You know, putting the horn in the top ramen box, and, you know, putting the blanket around it like it was a makeshift vocal booth, and yeah, we got cracking, man. And that shit was coming out so live, you know. We just wound up doing about like 50-something songs. And, you know, to this date, only one that we kind of like rejected on the fact that we couldn't really get it mixed right, and we had to redo it over again. So it kind of like lost that energy that it originally had. So we was like, nah, you know what, we just gonna scrap that and just keep pushing it. But besides that, all the rest of the songs talk about speed, West Coast speed. You know, some of it is gangster, of course. Some of it is lyrical, you know, but all of it is realism, and all of it is how we get down in Long Beach. It likes paint. If you all never been in Long Beach or not familiar with Long Beach, it gives you a great overview of what goes on, you know, in the LBC. And we got a couple of guys to help us out from the streets, a couple of homies, Superfly and Crooked Eye and Nino P. And we had a homegirl called P. McGee. She came down on there, and you know, we were just reaching out to people and inviting them to get involved with it because, you know, it's like we was all from Long Beach, and we was just like, shit, you know, let's just push it like this and see what we do. You know we got a lot of talent out there. God bless us to have a lot of talent out there. So, you know, we just started getting cracking, and the people we was inviting to big features, we got Spanky Dank on there too. We got Snoop Son on there too. Got G Nick from Boss Lady Entertainment. She on there. We got Big Beats on there. I mean, and it's just Long Beach state of mind. Every artist is from Long Beach, you know, and the producers gave us some heat. And shit, we just went in, man, and it just turned out to be like, you know what? I did a song with some guys, and the producer told them, like, man, Tray Deee, how his vocals sound clearer than yours? And they was out there in the studio. So, you know, Lil Iceberg was a bad dude, man. God sent him here and allowed us to be able to, you know, get together and come up with this music, man. And it's something that y'all really gonna do because, you know, it's West Coast, it's traditional West Coast, you know, ride music. You know, you throw it in your shit, man, hit some colors and, you know, play it at the barbecue and, you know, all that, the house party, all that kind of shit. It's some G shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of fans on the West Coast. You know, we were really happy to hear and see that, you know, you were promoting and putting out some new music. You know, it was just kind of a little puzzling how you were doing it behind the wall. But like I said before, you know, that really exemplifies a real hustler right there doing it. And, you know, with that being said, did you at any point become discouraged about ever making music again? Or were you ever concerned about your career in music being in jeopardy while in prison?
That's a nice question right there. Now, I never did get discouraged about not being able to make music no more, but I did get discouraged when I was arrested and taken away from the music. But, you know, I had to mature and find that, you know, the consequences of my actions, you know, are what took me away from the music. So it wasn't like, you know, I could be sad and mournful about something that I caused, that I brought upon myself. You know, Buddha teaches about, you know, transforming suffering, you know, into freedom and liberation. So, you know, that's always something that you don't feel through life as some part of suffering. So I'm not saying I didn't suffer, but musically, considering where I would be or where I should be or where I could be, you know, that always crosses my mind, but I don't look at it like, oh, if I was still out there, I do this and do that. You know, I just take the day as it comes and I see where I could best fit in the situation. So if I didn't feel that I could still create good music and make hard music that people really dig and people that live similar lifestyle to mine can relate to and appreciate the artistry in it, I wouldn't even have my mind no music, So I couldn't become discouraged because music is really a part of me, and I know that I got a voice in music that people really gravitate to. The people that know about me and the people that follow me, they be like, yeah, we get the real every time Tray Deee get on the microphone. So I found some other guys that was also capable of doing that, and that kind of like galvanized me with a little iceberg having the know-how to make it happen. That was just an added bonus. That was just like a sign from God saying, okay, you got an engineer right here. You're an artist. You see other artists around you, and you got access to producers to give you beats. So why wouldn't you go to the studio if you really have a love for music? What do you have better to do? Sit around and play dominoes? Tell old stories from when you was on the streets driving Mercedes and going to Japan and all that. No, you get to work and you do what you love and you do what people love you for. So that's really what spurred me to be Long Beach State of Mind. But I never did feel like I would not be relevant in music, and if I ever felt like that, I wouldn't try to force myself back into it.